On this week's episode of the Hanford Insider, Rob will give us a quick community news update and review some of the busy fall calendar ahead. Then, Lupe Villa, Kings County Registrar of Voters, stops by to share with us information about the upcoming general election. And later, I'll be back with a high school football recap. This is the Hanford Insider for Monday, October 7th.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Hanford Insider. I'm your host, Rob Bentley. Thanks for listening. In community news this week, as most of you have heard by now, after 95 years in business, the Superior Dairy family is looking for a new owner to carry on the tradition. The new owner will be afforded the opportunity to continue the Superior Dairy legacy and deliver the high-quality products that their customers have come to know since 1929. Real estate agent Ryan Portugal is handling the sale, and any interested party should contact him directly at 559-904-5252. Please contact him directly rather than going into the store. I'll be hosting a special show with most, if not all, of the City Council candidates on next week's episode of The Insider, and I need your help. I'd like them to answer some of my questions as well as some of yours. If you'd like to participate, please email me at hanfordinsider@gmail.com with your question and listen to the show on the 14th to see if your question is one of the ones selected. Thanks for participating. In other news, I often get asked about community shredding events. I started these events when I was the band director at Pioneer Middle School, and the high school bands have now taken that over. I see that the Sierra Pacific Band will be holding an event at the district office on Lacey Boulevard on Saturday, October 26th, so start saving your stuff. I'm planning on taking a box of my stuff to shred. Maybe I'll see you there. Here are some things coming up on our community calendar. At the Thursday Night Marketplace this week, it's Health and Wellness Night. The music is being provided by the popular Tex-Mex band Caliphas. Kings County's Asian Experiences at the Carnegie Museum is open each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. Part 2 showcases local Asian communities in the years following World War II. Specific displays focus on the histories, cultures, and traditions of the Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, and Hmong in the area. The museum will be hosting a tea ceremony in the museum courtyard with Kei Tokumoto this Saturday, October 12th. For more information, visit carnegiemuseumofkingscounty.org. The Hanford Fox Theater is starting their October movie night this month. They'll be showing Disney's Coco on Saturday, October 12th at 2, Scream on October 19th at 7, and The Shining on October 26th at 7. Tickets are available at foxhanford.com. The Kings County Art League is holding an Artists Harvest Market at the Faust Plaza on Saturday, October 12th from 9 to 1. The Main Street Hanford October Craft Beer Festival will be held in the Civic Park on October 12th beginning at 5 p.m. The Hanford Fire Department will be holding their annual open house on Sunday, October 13th from 10 to 2 at Station 1 on Grangeville Boulevard. And as you heard on last week's episode, the Kings County Symphony will be holding their fall concert at the Fox Theater on Sunday, October 13th at 4 p.m. On October 16th, the Department of Parks and Community Services will be holding a skate park workshop for the new Heroes Park in the City Training Room at 6 p.m. If you have an event coming up and you'd like some help getting the word out, let's work together. Send your information to hanfordinsider@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter to get a complete calendar of events. Well, you've certainly seen the signs around town. It's election season, and back in February, we had the opportunity to visit with Lupe Villa, who is the Registrar of Voters for the County of Kings. And I invited him back to come on the show because we have a very full November ballot, and we're not going to cover all the races and propositions or any of that information. Mainly, we'll be talking about how to make sure that your votes count in the November 5th election. Welcome to the show, Lupe.
Thanks so much, Rob. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate the interview we held before last election, and thank you for asking me to come back to your show and do another presentation to your audience. Appreciate it.
So I know your office has been working really super hard on getting these ballots out. What is the timeline for the ballots going out this year?
So, thankfully we have very hardworking crew here at the Elections Department, Kings, and we are on target to have our ballots hit the mail stream come October 7th. That'll be Monday, October 7th. There is some state VIGs, the informational guides that are going to be hitting possibly the week of the 30th, September 30th. Most voters in Kings County, including myself, just got our first mailer announcing our VCA, our Voter Choice Act election model that went out. I got it this morning, but I believe it had been in my mailbox for a couple of days. So we'll send out the next round of mailings. It's going to be the informational guide. And depending on the type of ballot that you have, meaning the contents on your ballot, that's the specific guide that you'll get. You can also go to our website at votekingscounty.com, and we're going to have all 118, I believe, information guides there for people to visit and view if they like. And then October 7th, the ballots will be hitting the mail stream. So we're expecting our first mailing to be in excess of $63,000. And as with any election, you do expect and we anticipate some of our numbers to move around depending on folks moving in or out of the county and such. So we'll do supplemental pools leading up to the 15th day before the election. And then folks will come in person and vote in the office or at a vote center. But visit times, there'll be a lot of material being mailed out to our voters in Kings County, not just from the elections office, but obviously from the candidates that are running for office for the November 5th election.
So the ballots are going out this week, and then your office is going to be flooded with, I'm sure, lots of people asking questions and stuff. But what else does your office do? Once the ballots hit the mailboxes, what is your office doing to prepare for November 5th?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Rob. So the ballots will hit October 7th, Monday, October 7th. Our folks in Kings will probably start getting them in between the 9th and the 10th. And then once those ballots hit the mail stream, we'll start getting our phones start ringing off the hook pretty much. People will start coming into the office. We do anticipate to have our 11 drop boxes available to the public to use on October 7th. So those drop boxes will be installed this coming week, and then they'll be opened up on October 7th for people to use. We prepare internally. Obviously, one of the things that we have in mind is security of the election, ensuring that our voters experience a safe and secure election, whether you vote by mail, your ballot, or you go in person to one of our 8 vote centers that will be having this coming election. We're required by a state law to have 7 vote centers, but due to the anticipated turnout for the November 5th general election, we're going to open as 8th center. Just to accommodate the expected turnout. So we're preparing internally. A lot of the work goes behind the scenes is regards to the ballot, laying out the ballot, creating the ballot, proofing the ballot to make sure that the ballot that you get is the correct ballot type and that contents that you're entitled to cast or vote on are the contents that you have in front of you when you get your ballot. So a lot of the man hours that we have here are spent on that process. Once the ballots come back into the office, we take the necessary steps to ensure that we secure the ballots, that we properly process the ballots, capture that signature, make sure we, compare it to the signatures on file that we have. And again, as mentioned previously, here in Kings County, we don't have technology that verifies or compares the signatures. We do it with the naked eye, and it's a system we have in place internally. And again, I want to open that up to any member of the community who's interested in viewing or experiencing that process to come onto the office, and you're more welcome to come and observe how we process our ballots here in Kings.
That's great information. I'm sure some people will probably take you up on that. In 2024, that's definitely something that people want to participate in. Back in our February interview, we talked about the Voters' Choice Act and how that kind of changed the way we vote. Can you revisit that for us?
Yes. And again, I think that's a very good topic and good discussion to have. There is proven data that folks, not just in Kings County, but statewide, are still not familiar with what Voters' Choice Act means. We also know it as VCA for short. But basically what Voter Choice Act does for our voters, it allows you to vote have more options to vote, more ways to vote, and more days to vote, in short. So we in Kings County opened 2 vote centers 10 days prior to the elections. So those 2 vote centers that are open 10 days prior to the election is the Office of Education in the city of Lemoore is one of them, and the second one is our office. So folks can come into our office and vote anytime, actually, here in my office, anytime after October 7th. So essentially, my office is open for 29 days prior to the election to vote in person, if you want to vote in person. The vote center in Lemoore, the 10-day vote center, will open up on October 26th. And then the Voter Choice Act also requires us to open an additional 5 centers, but we're opening 6. And those early vote centers open 3 days prior to the election, and they start off November 2nd. So November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and obviously on Tuesday, November 5th, which is election day. So that's what the VCA allows us to do. Another beautiful thing about VCA is that you can vote anywhere within Kings County. So if you're running errands in the city of Lemoore, but you reside in Hanford, your domicile is in Hanford, you can cast your vote in one of our 2 vote centers that we have in Lemoore. If you're in Avenel, but if you live in Avenel, but you live in Corcoran, you can vote in Avenel. You can vote anywhere within the county of Kings. So that's another, plus, I would say, or a good thing for Kings County to have, because our voters can be busy and sometimes they forget where to go or where to vote, and they need to vote and they want to vote now. So that's the option they have. We will be having 8 vote centers in total by the end of November 5th. We are going to have 11 drop boxes throughout Kings County again this year. 2 at the Government Center. We'll have a drop box in the city of Corcoran, Avenel. There'll be 3 drop boxes in Lemoore, and that's going to be at the Recs Department, Central Union. West Hills College will be having a drop box as well. And then another drop box in the city of Ormona, Commission on Aging on 14th Avenue. And city of Hanford, the Grangeville, the high school on Grangeville Boulevard will have one. And then we have another drop box at the Home Gardens Community Service District area for those voters to use as well. And your drop box does not have to be within your vicinity. You can drop it off anywhere within Kings County. So that's another way that you can drop off your vote to us.
And those boxes are cleared out daily?
Those boxers, we retrieve our ballots every 48 hours.
Okay.
As we get closer to the election, we have drop boxes that are highly used, and we identified them based on data that we received from previous elections. That's the drop box on Grangeville Boulevard, Hanford High, the drop box at the Lemoore's Parks and Rec on Cinnamon Drive in the city of Lemoore, and the drop box that we have here at the Government Center in the parking lot. Those drop boxes get collected sooner than 48 hours because of the volume of ballots that come through. So we try to bring them in as soon as the one in the parking lot here will bring in 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah, that one is the one I use.
Yeah, that's you're not the only one. So, but we welcome anyone to use that drop box, any drop box within Kings County. We'll collect those ballots. We never had any issues with our drop boxes. I'm very proud and happy to share that the community within Kings County has been respectful of the drop boxes. We never had any of them vandalized or any issues with them, and I'm very thankful for that. I hope that continues future elections, especially this coming November 5th general election. So thank the public for that.
Yeah, me too. I want to go back to VCA for just a moment because you said that a voter could vote in an area that maybe they don't reside. And so we are able to mail in the ballots or drop them off, but you have printers that will print up the ballots at each of these places depending on which precinct they live in?
Yes. So, going back to March 2020, which was the last election that was held in Kings County under the traditional election model, in which you had to go to your specific precinct. And if you were not in that specific precinct or polling place, then you had to vote provisionally, which meant you were able to cast your vote, but then that vote was processed during the canvass period to make sure that you selected the contest that you're entitled to vote on. with VCA and the technology that we are now employing here in Kings County, it changed the entire process how we offer the vote to the voter. So you're absolutely correct. Our technology allows any voter to vote anywhere within Kings County. Example, you live in Hanford, but you don't live more, and you want to stop at the Civic, by simply providing that poll worker your information, your address, they'll be able to recognize the ballot type that you're entitled to, and then by electronic means, send that to our ballot on demand printer that we have at each one of our locations. And that ballot on demand printer will print you the ballot that you're entitled to. You can then cast your vote, drop it off in the red bag that we have at each one of our vote centers, and off you go. One of the things that we've done for this November 5th election is we prepared on the technology side as well. We are going to be equipping our vote centers with multiple ballot marking devices and multiple on-demand printers for our ballots. Specifically, College of the Sequoias, the multi-purpose room in the Government Center, and our vote center at the Civic in the city of Lemoore. Those three centers are the centers that are highly used by our voters that vote in person. So there'll be the technology and the staffing will be there to accommodate the expected turnout.
So the ballots are brought to your office and stored in your secure area. And then when does your staff start opening the ballots and start counting the votes?
Yeah. So ballots are collected effective October 7th, right? As soon as the ballot hits the mail stream, we start getting some ballots back. Believe it or not, some people come in that same day and drop off their ballot. We have a secure vault in our office that it's under security, access to only myself and my staff. And we just increased some of the security steps within the elections office and warehouse to make sure that those ballots are secured, and we keep them here. So processing or preparation of a ballot takes time. So we tend to wait until we have a few trays of ballots, meaning about maybe 900 to 1,200 ballots. Then we start preparing them. It's more cost effective and it's more efficient to do so and not do as they come in, because you don't have that very many at first. Now, fast forward to the mid-October, you'll be rocking and rolling. You'll be doing ballot preparation every day of the week. And we'll be preparing ballots all the way up through Election Day. On Election Day, the first votes that were released are those vote-by-mail ballots that we received early. On a daily basis from our vote centers, once they open up, both of the 10-day centers and including the 3-day centers, we collect those ballots on a daily basis. So if a voter drives up to Avenel and they vote, that vote center staff is responsible to drive that ballot to us at the end of the day when they close that vote center. So we don't leave any live ballots at our vote centers. They come back home every night.
On election night, I know that you have a website that you are constantly updating. And can you tell us a little bit about the website and how voters might see results posted?
Yeah. So typically what we do is we print the report off of our voting system that captures the turnout and it captures the results of each contest on election night. We expect to print our first report on Tuesday, November 5th, I would say about 8:05. That report is going to give you a huge number of ballots that were returned to us early on in the process. We tend to do a minimum 3 reports before we go home. So one of the responsibilities you have, and you cannot leave without doing this, is making sure that you count every live ballot that is dropped off at a vote. So on election night, when the polls close at 8, the poll workers and staff at each one of our vote centers are responsible to collect the material and the ballots and drive those to our office. When they come to our office, we open up the red bags, break the seal, we review the seals, make sure they're the same coordinated numbers. And then we count the ballots that they bring back and make sure that they match our records. Once those ballots are counted and everything's balancing out, then we count the live ballots and all the other materials stored away until we start a canvass period, which is November 7th. That's when we actually start canvass for the November 5th election. And canvass lasts for 30 days. So this year, the governor just signed into law. I can't remember the bill number, but Sunday he signed into law a coordinated and certification date for all counties in the state of California. Previously, if you finish your canvas period, you were able to certify anytime within those 30 days. Now you have to wait until Tuesday, December 3rd. So the certification from the county to the Secretary of State's office must be on that day. But yeah, so all those ballots that we have, we do count them before we go home on election day. And if you cannot go home until you're done counting those ballots.
It's a long night.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So speaking of long nights, long ballots, there's going to be a lot of issues to vote on. There's some school bonds. Of course, we have the presidential election. We have some city tax measures. Can you just real quick, just give us a rundown of some of the things that voters are going to be seeing on their ballots in addition to the presidential election?
Yeah, so Kings County voters are going to experience Senate 33. You got your congressional district seats as well. You have your presidential elections, senator elections, or contests, I should say. You also have your local contests. City of Lemore's on the ballot, City of Hanford's on the ballot, City of Avenel's on the ballot, City of Corcoran's not on the ballot. The candidates, the incumbents were not challenged, therefore they don't have to appear on the ballot. So that is the only city that went without challengers for the November 5th election. Other than that, every city is going to be on the ballot. City of Reef Sunset School District in Avenel has a recall that's going to be on the ballot as well. So the people in Avenel or in that area are going to have a busier ballot than other folks simply because of that recall. Also, one thing that voters will see in the November 5th election is going to be 9 state propositions that are going to be throughout the state. We have 9 local measures that we have. City of Lemore's got a measure, City of Hanford, City of Avenel. You're also going to see some school measures such as State Center Community College, Layton Unified, Kingsburg, and Tulare High Union, and the elementary schools for Armona and Hanford. So we'll be having a very busy ballot. You're going to see 3-car ballot, and nothing that I've seen before. I was thinking that was going to be larger than that, but we'll take 3 cards, A, B, and C. So make sure that when you do open up your ballot envelope, that you look for A, B, and C, and then you cast your vote on each one of those contests that you're entitled to vote on.
So what would you say to encourage voter participation? What does your office do to encourage voter participation?
We try to engage with our community. We attend community events. For example, last Friday, we were singers at the park, at Burris Park. We attend that event on an annual basis. We have several pop-ups events at West Hills College. So we try to get out to the community and, share our processes within Kings County, and then take advantage of invitations like the one you just offered me, to come on your radio show and talk about elections and what we're doing here. So sitting here and talking to you, Rob, it is I welcome it, and anytime a reporter calls my desk, I answer right away because I think the message is it's magnified when I speak to you. So thank you for that. And it is what we try to do. We also try to encourage, our friends and neighbors to share the message that we have. It's extremely important to vote. There is, very extremely important contests that we're going to be having on the November 5th ballot that require your attention and your vote. So please promote the vote and hopefully people show up. I do expect, my prediction, in talking to my staff, is that I have predicted 85% turnout in Kings County. We were at a 78% turnout back in 2020 general. I think that we're engaging the community a lot more this time around. I think that politics themselves have been magnified. We have a lot of local contests that are extremely important that people are invested into and are going to be paying attention to this contest. And I think that's going to drive out the voters to, one, drop off their ballot, one of our ballot drop boxes, or by the USPS service, or visit one of our vote centers. Whatever source of method you want to use to vote, just make sure you vote. We're here to accept your vote and make sure it counts.
Well, I appreciate that, Lupe. Thank you for sharing that information. I know I'm going to ask you to do something that's probably a little bit difficult because you're always going to think you're going to leave somebody off, but I know you have a tremendous staff that works with you. and it's not you just loading up your pickup truck with all these ballots and driving them back to your office. You have a tremendous staff. I remember when we visited back in February, I got to meet a few of them, and this is your opportunity to thank your staff. We definitely appreciate the work that they put in.
Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, they are the folks that run the department. As I tell them before, I'm just a driver. You guys tell me where to go. But I am so thankful and grateful for the staff I have. Emily Oliveira, our election supervisors. Then we have Manuel Hernandez, Fala Valdez, Gloria Rodriguez, and Hope Nail, that are our election staff. And they invest a lot of time. They sacrifice from their personal lives to come dedicate some of their hours here to the office. And this is just getting up to the election. When election gets here, it is rock and roll. So we'll be having a lot of long days for them. They'll be working hard. And above all, they work with a high degree of integrity and dedication to the voters of Kings County. So rest assured that we're doing our best to ensure that our elections are safe, secure, and that each one of our voters experience a great election come November. So thank you for bringing that up. Thanks to my staff. You guys rock. So again, we'll be successful. I anticipate a very successful election.
Well, thank you for all that you do and your staff. We certainly appreciate it, and we know how important it is to our democracy to have a free and fair election. So without you guys handling things for us, it would be a wreck. So again, thank you for coming on the show, and it's always a pleasure to visit with you about the election process.
For sure, Rob. And I also want to say thanks to the voters of Kings County that come out at every election. Thank you for your continuing support and for your vote of confidence. If there's any concern, issues that you guys may have, you guys may reach us at 559-852-4401. Again, you might reach us at 559-852-4401. Come to our office if you have any concerns. Ask for me. I'll be more than happy to meet with you and talk to you about any concerns you may have leading up to the election or after the election. We're as transparent as you can get, and we drive, and I embrace transparency. So we're here to help, and we're here to answer any questions, concerns you may have. Again, thank you for your time, Rob. Appreciate it.
And now it's time for Hanford Insider Sports with Eric Bentley.
It was more of the same for Hanford High as they took down Dinuba last week 43-6. As we've seen all season long, the opponent got on the board first as Dinuba went up 6-0, but it was classic bullpup football after that as the combination of explosive offense and big play defense kept the Emperors at bay. The Bullpups scored all 43 of their points in 3 quarters before the running clock was initiated to start the fourth. Sitting at a perfect 6-0 and still ranked in the Division I top 10, the Bullpups will have a tough test this week as they host a top 10 showdown with Tulare Union on Friday for their homecoming game. And it was a tough week for Sierra Pacific and Hanford West as both teams were shut out last week. The Golden Bears will look to bounce back from their loss to Exeter when they travel to Emmanuel on Friday, and the Huskies will try to rebound from their loss to Reedley as they host Selma on Thursday. We'd like to cover as many local sports as we can, so if you have a score report or a story idea, make sure to email hanfordinsider@gmail.com. I'm Eric Bentley, and this has been your Hanford Insider Sports Report.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. Join me next week for our City Council Forum. Many of the candidates will be joining me to let you know why they feel that they should be the ones to represent our city. If you enjoyed this podcast and you'd like to show your support, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Hanford Insider to make a donation. If you'd like to join the Hanford Insider email list, stop by my website at hanfordinsider.com to sign up for updates. You'll also get an exclusive copy of my newsletter in your inbox each week. You can send me feedback by voicemail through the website by clicking on the microphone icon. I'd love to hear from you. Your comments may even be shared on the show. I also need your help getting the word out about the show by liking and sharing on social media or telling a friend. For information about the show, you can find this podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, and YouTube at Hanford Insider. If you have a show idea, be sure to email me at hanfordinsider@gmail.com and I'll look into it. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.